You are now entering the memory mortuary, where your childhood is reflected, bisected, and dissected before being laid to rest. So let's see what's on the slab for our morticians today on this episode of the Memory Mortuary.
Here at the Memory Mortuary, we are not embalming actual bodies. Instead, we deal with aspects of your childhood. That is, if you are in your mid to late 20s. In every episode, morticians Andreas and Gabe will examine the remains of a piece of pop culture from the late 90s or early 2000s, explain what it was, what memories they have of it, determine how it died, and pay their final respects. Please keep in mind, this broadcast was recorded in the midst of a pandemic, so audio between our morticians may not be of the usual quality, as they speak via tin cans and a 5-mile-long string. So please remove your hats and bust out your black veils as you pay our morticians a visit.
Ugh. What on earth is that?
I'm not sure, but whatever it is, it seems to be awfully lumpy. Oh, this is the strangest body bag we've got.
Well, let's get to it. I want to be able to go home and consume something culturally high class, like reading Shakespeare, painting the armor on a 28mm miniature of an orc captain.
Oh, Jesus Christ, I'm gonna be sick.
Good God, what the hell is that? It's putrid. It looks to be chunks. Quick, read the toe tag.
I can't.
Why not?
There's no toes. It's just thumbs.
I'm sorry?
It's thumbs.
Woohoo! Dudes, we're talking tech deck dudes. That's right, those little tech deck critters. You know, the ones with magnetic feet.
What the are these things?
They're thumbs. I mean, at least I think they're
thumbs.
supposed to be. They really don't.
I hope they're thumbs. Here's the thing. I would love to start every episode being very professional and saying, Tech Deck Dudes was created in so-and-so year or by so-and-so, and I can read off a Wikipedia page for you.
Yeah.
Just to sort of give someone some background. I'm going to let you know right now, a Wikipedia page does not exist for Tech Deck Dudes.
Really?
I mean it.
Huh.
Yeah, there is no Wikipedia page for Tech Deck Dudes. When you try to find a Wikipedia page for Tech Deck Dudes, it brings you to fingerboarding as a concept, which then references the Tech Deck company, which created fingerboards before they did the Tech Deck Dudes.
Yeah.
But there is no sign of any Tech Deck Dudes on Wikipedia.
Okay.
There is a Tech Deck Dude wiki,
Yes, of course.
which is maybe 25% complete. Someone got about a quarter way through creating a Tech Deck Dude wiki and then gave up. I may even be able to tell you what they gave up on March 23rd, 2012.
You know, I'm looking at that same information, but it seems like they haven't updated it, but there is still... Actually, no, there is some recent wiki activity on here. I mean, you may be looking at... You know, there are multiple...
In the past decade.
Oh, no. I mean 14 days ago.
Where?
Well, I'm looking at the Tech Deck Dudes Wikipedia's, or the wiki. And again, though, anybody can make a wiki, so there might be...
What page are you looking at?
I'm just looking at the techdeckdudes.fandom.com, and the recent wiki activity shows that some users have updated the Tech Deck Dudes list and artwork.
Well, when I go to explore and I go, I see wiki activity.
Oh, well, you know what?
Anything...
This isn't that they were recently added. It's just people have been coming onto these character pages and commenting and doing other things. Now, I don't know when it was last updated.
Because they only have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They only have 7 characters on here.
They have a lot more on mine that I'm looking at. There's 160 pages on this wiki. But you know what? That doesn't matter. It's still a very...
It doesn't matter.
It's nobody, I think, really cares about these guys. This is like... God. I don't know who this was aimed for.
I mean, this Tech Deck Dudes, we talk about how intellectual properties die on this show.
Yeah.
We talk about how really popular things from our childhood come into our lives and then leave. When it comes to Tech Deck dudes are the equivalent of dying on the toilet. like they are the equivalent of like being like they enter your life, they have a big giant hurrah, and you go and you party with them, and you have a great freaking time for about a year, and then
you get the news that they OD'd on the toilet.
All right, let's start from the top. Tech Deck dudes, from what we can gather without reading anything from Wikipedia page, Tech Deck dudes were a series of small toys with magnetic
toys.
Yeah, small rubber toys in the shape of thumbs with faces printed onto them or carved into them that were given little outfits or
shoes, their feet.
Feet. Eventually, they gave them arms.
Oh, yeah.
They started from what I've been able to gather, because the only way I've been able to piece together the history of this intellectual property has been to actually go on eBay and start looking at products that are being sold that are still in package, and then zooming in on the actual date of production on the packages themselves. So I've been able to gather the Tech Deck dude started roughly around 2000 and was pretty dead as a doornail by 2004. There were some releases after that where they created these Tech Deck dude multi-packs where they repacked characters. They created these little skate park things, but really the bulk of the series had completely died out overnight. It's insane. So,
yeah,
I mean, we both have memories of this thing.
Yeah.
Let's get to it. When did you start collecting Tech Deck, dude?
Okay, I can't.
You have to introduce yourself as, "Hi, I'm Gabe, and I collected Tech Deck dudes." And then I have to go, "Hi, Gabe."
Hi. Yeah. It's really this. This is something that I'm not proud of, and it's not the first thing I think of when someone's like, "Hey, remember these toys?" Or it's like, "Tell us a great toy from your childhood." This is not something I go to right away. Honestly, I don't even think about Tech Deck dudes.
I forgot they existed until when I messaged you about this. So probably about a week ago?
Well, I mean,
about a week ago, I kind of was like, "Oh my god,
yeah.
I totally forgot these existed," and I had a bucket of them.
I didn't have too many. I want to say I had less than 10. I had some accessories. I'm some boards. I mostly, I guess, traded them with some friends.
I remember we traded a couple.
Yeah, and I had a few of the original like armless ones that didn't have any accessories attached to them. They're just straight up normal magnetic feet.
Well, we should actually talk about that too, if you don't mind. Not to interrupt, but just to kind of give our listeners an idea. Over the span of those 4 years, from 2000 to 2004, the Tech Deck dudes started the first year as being armless thumbs that they gave feet to and put in little outfits, and then you got little magnetic boards and you stuck them onto the boards and you'd roll them around and play with them or whatever. Over time, they started to expand on them. They gave them rubber arms that were bendable and posable.
They gave them accessories that you put on their head, their arms, their back. They went all out.
They did. They did. And I'll say that, like, towards the end, at least in 2004, I was having a blast with these things when they came with, like, guns. And
oh, yeah, I was too. When they introduced the magnetic parts that you could attach to their hands and their back and their head and all those, the accessories, it started to become cool. And it started to also, maybe, I'd like to say it started to figure out its identity, because early on, if you look at the archive of these things, they're all over the fucking place. You've got Frankenstein's monster, Vikings, gangsters, cheerleaders, a pinhead, like not a pin, but like a Hellraiser demon, sumo wrestler.
There's the infamous fat cop.
Yeah, the fat cop with the donut. Jester,
the worst one.
Yeah, it's a knight, a Russian. He's wearing he's got the Soviet sickle and hammer on his hat.
Yeah,
That
Yeah,
his
I
name is
remember that.
Sergey too. This thing, it's so weird. I mean, they're not racist or anything, but they're
Are
really.
you sure about that?
I don't know. Actually, you know what?
I'm not
Looking at the archive now, I see an American Indian with a
Yeah.
headdress
I was gonna bring that one up.
and very red looking.
I was gonna bring that one up.
Yeah.
There are ones that are insensitive, to say the least.
Yeah. There's the one with a guy. I believe it's just supposed to be a Chinese character. He's got the
Oh no, I forgot about that one.
he's got the hat. You know the I don't know what you call those. Those really flat, large hats to you know get the sun out of your face while you're doing something. Yeah, and
a
it's
yarmulke.
yeah that. And it seems like he has squinty eyes. So yeah.
Now, well, I'm just for the record, you're describing the toy.
Yes, I'm describing the toy. This is something that was
With-
aimed at kids, and even though it's aimed at kids, it looks more like this was meant for. It's stylized as if it's for teenagers. It's very a look where
Yeah,
we're
it is.
rebellious and we don't care, and it's all very disgusting too.
If you had to pick a demographic, like an age group for this, that you think it was meant for, what would the age group be? What do you think?
Like 10 to 15 max.
Yeah,
Then
I
they
would-
live in a trailer park.
Yeah.
Because they're just
I was
nasty.
thinking like they are. They're gross. I was thinking like if I had to give an exact age range, I would say this is meant for 13 to 14-year-olds. That weird time period where like
well, you're
you know,
getting a little
kids are-
rebellious.
Yes.
You're-
You're getting a little rebellious, but you still want to buy and or play with toys.
Yeah. You're starting
So
to
if you're
hang
gonna-
out with the older kids at school, and they're
Yeah.
rubbing off on you a little bit, but you still want to hold on to your childhood, just that sort of freedom and that young spirit. And you're like, I'm not entirely ready for that, so I'm gonna be cool with rubber thumbs.
Yeah. I want a rubber thumb that's a jack-o'-lantern.
Yeah,
I think that'll really show off my rebellious side.
it was just incredibly strange.
It is. And so now, with that being said, like the age range that you think it was for, what age range do you think actually bought it? Because I know what age range actually bought it. And you're damn close to it, I have to say. You were pretty close to it.
What, you think 16-year-olds bought this?
Oh, no. Oh, lower, much lower.
Oh, what, like 8-year-olds?
Yeah, I'm saying 8 or 9-year-olds, like little kids.
Oh, yeah. Kids
were
around.
seeing these things.
Yeah. It's got that
And they-
grossness to it that definitely would appeal to young kids, where it's like, oh, this is so... Also, it's different. I don't know what else was around at that time, because, clearly it worked on me. It worked on us because we got them. And,
yeah. So let's talk about that if you don't mind. What are our own experiences with the tech deck dudes? Now you said you own probably about 10 or less.
yeah.
I had a small bucket of them. I think I probably had maybe 20 in the 20. Let's say anywhere from 18 to 25.
Yeah.
I looked at the calendars and I went back and I was trying to time this out for me. I think it may have been only 6 months. I think it may have only been the first half of 2004 that I overwhelmingly wanted as many of these things as possible, and then abruptly stopped giving a shit. It could have actually, I take that back. It was probably the end of 2004. Probably from like September at the start of 2004 to December at the end of 2004. And then I probably didn't buy a single one in 2005. At least for me.
I don't remember, the exact dates of when I bought them, but I do know which ones I owned. I know I never bought one of the large 3-packs that had 3 different characters, because,
Yeah.
again, I'm looking at the list of these guys, and I don't, I remember all the ones I own. I can say right off the top of my head, my favorite one that I owned was, I had some of the Dudeville with magnetic mission gear. And I had the Scuba Squad and both of the Special Ops, which, those were the peak, I think, of these little toys. This is when, they were like, okay, I think we found our identity. We aren't making these disgusting caricatures and complete knockoff of things. We have the list just... The Hellraiser demon is... clear as day. There's a Batman one called Adam.
I remember that one.
Yeah, that one is just clearly Adam West.
Let me say something a little positive about them, because I know right now we're just kind of talking about how terribly awful they are.
Oh, well, no. I was saying that the ones that I bought, the three that I named, were actually awesome. They were incredibly cool, but everything before that was very bland and just like, why would anybody like this? And then looking more at the list and seeing how it evolved from there on, you can see how I think it was just a little too late for them. It was already dead.
Okay, so something that I liked about them was I probably got every single Tech Deck dude that I had owned at KB Toys, and the packaging evolved to this apex of perfection at some point where there were enough Tech Deck dudes to collect where you didn't realistically think, I want them all. You went, oh, I like this one, and I like this one, and I like this one. And you accepted the fact that there were too many for you to possibly collect all on your own. And you liked the idea that you didn't know all of them that existed. Because I'm telling you right now, I do not remember and or think there was a Tech Deck Dude encyclopedia to be able to find how many or which ones existed. To me, there were times where I came to school with maybe half a dozen of them in my backpack, and I would be sitting with friends, and someone would pull out one that I went, oh my God, I've never seen that one before. Do you want to trade? And I would trade for it. And that's actually how I got one of my favorite Tech Deck Dudes. One of the things that I really liked, they had these Tech Deck Dude monsters or Tech Deck Dude creatures. If you can even identify them as thumbs, you're squinting too hard. They were just monsters on skateboards.
Yeah, these I've never seen. I don't think I knew about them till, today. The only one that looks familiar to me from the creatures pack would be Plague. Something about that one seems...
I didn't even remember that one.
I feel like maybe I knew someone that had that. But again, these don't look like Tech Deck Dudes, really, at all. So I wouldn't remember these guys much, and I wouldn't have associated them with Tech Deck Dudes. Thus, they're in some repressed section of my brain that is like, no, these are not an important toy. But they are kind of neat looking, some of them. Again, I think they just turned up the gross factor. Creatures series 2 is just straight up grotesque. It looks like something out of I don't know. It's
I saw those, but those had come out after, I don't know, after everyone I knew just stopped caring, and it's an enigma to me. I think it also has a school charm, and here's where I'm going to come with that perspective on it. They were easy to conceal. They were easy. I know it's going to sound like it.
Yeah, that sounds great. You could put these in your bag. No one would be able to know. You could just slip this in.
You could slip it in there right next to your shank.
Yep, right. Oh yeah, those were different times. I tell you,
different times. Uphill both ways. No, so they were easy to conceal, which meant that as a kid, if you were wearing those cargo shorts, you could load your cargo shorts up.
You could be like a dealer of Tech Deck Dudes. You could just load up your cargo shorts with different Tech Deck Dudes and be like, you go out in the park, during recess, and you're like, hey, you want to trade these? And you pour them out of your pants pocket.
And the teacher's concerned why you keep bringing other kids under the slide, so she starts coming towards you, and you gotta ditch the supply in a bush somewhere. You gotta crap. You take out all the Tech Deck Dudes and drop them into a bush. You gotta run off. No, I was just nothing. I don't have anything. What are you talking about?
Mm-mm. Yeah,
this is all true story. So There's that element of it. Easy to conceal, easy to have on your person, easy to throw into your backpack. Just they just like the original Pokemon Tomy figures, which were very durable and and small. They were the type of thing you could just toss into a bag, and they almost certainly weren't going to break, and you could pull them out during lunch or whatever and trade or mess around, do whatever. I think the biggest key point was actually the magnets on the feet, because
oh yes, I was going to mention that too.
Yeah. How much did you actually use the skateboards?
Exactly. The
never used them.
Like as a kid, even today, magnets can just be fun to play with.
Yes.
You can put them wherever. If your school desk was metal, had some metal parts to it.
That's exactly where I was going.
Exactly. You put them under, you put them to the side, you put them on the inside. It was fun to put them wherever, and it was just cool. And I think that's what made them really fun. Because I don't recall a lot of other toys ever trying to do things with magnets.
So you and I were in the same classes back then, and I know that we had metal desks because when we had Tech Deck Dudes for that brief stint, the inside of my desk looked like a cave with a bunch of bats hanging from the ceiling. We had a whole collection of mismatched desks.
Yes.
Some of them were still from the 90s, some of them were maybe from the 2000s. I actually don't think so. I don't think we had any new desks. I think we just had old ones back then. So we're probably sitting on desks from 1985 to the 90s at best.
Yeah.
So the tops of these desks had magnets, had a metal on them. So you could just stick them all in there. And again, easy to conceal. So you could take one, and if you had to ditch it, if you had to ditch the Tech Deck Dude because your teacher was coming around or whatever, you take the Tech Deck Dude and you just toss it into the desk, and it was guaranteed to blam stick right onto the wall, and you knew it was safe. Those magnets were strong.
Yeah, they were pretty good magnets. Yeah, the boards not that great. The wheels on them sucked. They're not. Yeah. They were not meant for your traditional Tech Deck fingerboarding, whatever you want to. I never was into that.
That's important to say.
Yeah, because these boards were thicker. They
had the magnets in them.
Yeah, they had the magnets in them. They were plastic and just overall shitty. While those regular Tech Deck boards, I was never into them. I think my brother maybe owned like 3 of them.
Yeah, traditional fingerboarding. Tech Deck
those were actually wooden. I'm pretty sure they were.
They were.
Yeah,
and you had little tools.
Yeah, you had the tools. You could switch out the part. It was. Thinking back on that, like, damn, that was definitely more fun than Tech Deck Dudes.
That was absolutely a 90s, like, how do we capitalize on the big influx of skateboarder culture that's hitting?
Yeah.
How do we...
And that one was aimed for the older audience.
Yeah, and it was also aimed for an audience that I wasn't. I just didn't...
Oh yeah. I never get like all the people that I knew who owned Tech Deck Dudes, they didn't give a shit about skateboarding. It was all about the characters and the magnets. The boards,
and I'm going to say this too, the fingerboarding aspect. I'm sorry if I'm going to insult you if you fingerboard. I don't know who does. But when I think of fingerboarding, I put that at around the same level as like hacky sack.
Like, it is. No, that's true. It's not a skill that you can go, hey guys, you want to see something? You're at a party and you're like, check this out. And you pull out your little you keep it in your little chest pocket and you pull it out and you start doing crazy tricks with your fingers and everyone's like, whoa.
Yeah, and I would be thoroughly impressed for about a minute, maybe.
I don't even think I would be impressed for a minute. I would just go, all right. I'm sorry, but is it fun to play though? Yeah, definitely. It's probably very fun to play, but I sure as hell am not busting that out in front of people.
No. I'm not doing that either. And my point in saying this is actually just to emphasize the groundwork from which Tech Deck Dudes was built, the foundation of this crumbling monolith of capitalist bullshit, it was all built on a bad idea. A minute's worth of entertainment.
Well,
Right?
you could say that about a lot of toys, that they're minute worth of entertainment. And, we don't have the numbers, the sales charts. We don't know if they were starting to burn money the longer they kept this going. I'd like to think they didn't, because the newer packs, the newer stuff they started to release clearly had more effort put into them.
So I'm going to take a step back and say, when you look at the way that they were released, at the height for us, I think the packaging was top notch. You had the nice bubble that kept the Tech Deck Dude inside, and underneath, kind of out of sight, was the skateboard. And behind the Tech Deck Dude, when they started to give them arms and all different kinds of fun things, they started to have cards that came with them.
Yeah, yeah.
And here's the thing that I think is so brilliant. A lot of times now, when collectible toys integrate collectible cards in with them, you get one card with that one toy, and that one card represents that one toy. You see that with, well, they're dead now, but the Skylanders, the Disney Infinities, there was probably another one of those. Was there another one of those that I'm forgetting?
Skylanders, Disney Infinity.
The Lego
the Lego one.
That wasn't what I was thinking of, though. But regardless, you see with those that whenever you go, and the Tech Deck Dudes had very similar packaging, now that I think about it, but if you went into a store to go grab a Skylander, which I don't think is possible anymore.
You'd have to go to a 5 and below or something.
Yeah, if you go to a 5 below, where I guarantee you'll find a
bin.
Skylander, a bin of Skylanders, you will notice, if I remember right, that there's a trading card behind the figure themselves. And that is very similar to Tech Deck Dudes. When we were younger, Tech Deck Dudes, you went into a store, you had your Tech Deck Dude in the bubble, and then behind it, instead of there being one card for that one figure, there was a pack of cards. If I remember right, that had 3 to 5 cards inside. I'd have to double check that. And here was the brilliance of that. You open up that pack of 3 to 5, and they were random cards.
Mm-hmm.
And what that did was that gave you a sneak preview of the other ones that existed out there. So I could go in and I could buy Brad, the lizard monster Tech Deck Dude. And I could open him up, and then I could see the pack of cards in the back. And I'd open up the pack of cards, and I'd lay those cards out. And I would have a card for Tank. I'd have one for Jack. I'd have one for the cop with the donut. I'd have one for the samurai one. And I'd go, oh my God, wait, I didn't know the samurai guy existed. I'd never seen him in my local KB Toys or whatever. And then you'd start investigating. So the cards were a secondary thing to collect. They were all numbered. And of course, for me, with my undiagnosed OCD, I immediately started a binder and was like, wait a minute, what's number 34? What's Tech Deck Dude number 34? And it's like one sitting on a toilet or something, or one with coming out of a toilet, because they're inevitably trash. But I love them. I do. The longer I talk about them, the more my rage and my frustration with what they were becomes fascination and almost a level of and I'm impressed. I'm impressed because I was completely captured by them. And I had a bunch of the cards. From my understanding, there was a game with the cards. And I'm not kidding you here. When you took a card and you flipped it over and you looked at that character's stats, on the bottom left, their stats were represented by a number of rocks, papers, or scissors.
I mean, that's fairly normal. You see that in a lot of games today, where
papers, and scissors.
Where it comes down to just a triangle of
Oh yes, but they usually hide it. They couldn't do something that was like finger or thumb related. I mean, I guess rock, paper, scissors makes sense, but it wasn't. They weren't even pictures of hands doing the rock, paper, scissors motions. They were literal just pictures of scissors and rocks. And I never figured out how to play that game because I was too busy sticking the magnets to the support beams of our school. Or
support beams at the school.
Yeah. Or walking to lunch and taking one of those bad boys and winging it across the hallway and landing that right on the top, the beam that was above the double doors going down into the lunchroom, and not being able to reach it because I was a child.
Yeah, I don't see the time period on a lot of these, like when they came out. Like, looking at it, you can see the slow evolution. We started out with just thumbs, shoes, magnets that connected to board. We then got to arms that bended. But let me redo all that.
Oh no, it's totally fine because the quality of this audio will match the quality of these toys.
Yes, they will. That's staying in.
Don't cut that.
Don't cut that. But okay, back. Let me redo what I was saying. So yeah, so this started off as just thumbs, with feet on a board. Moved on to arms. Moved on to accessories. And then it looks like no, and then it moved on to cards that came with the blisters, and then I guess they did pets, little minion things that came with.
I had one of those.
I think I may have had one too, but like my friend gave it to me. I'm looking through them, and only one looks familiar. The rest I don't know. And I'm also amazed at. This is random, but when did Arnold run for? What position did he run for in California?
Governor of California.
And nice, he said it too. What year was that he ran for governor?
I want to, if I remember right. Now, this is before I'm looking it up. I just want to see if anyone's impressed. I believe it was 04 or 05.
Okay, all right. So
but I'm going to look it up right now. Governor.
So this then does go with this.
Wait, hold on. He served as the governor from 2003 to 2011. Okay.
Wow.
Close.
Okay.
Very close. Wow. 2004. So 2003 makes sense because.
Yeah, because there's one of him called Arnie and Freedom, and it's supposed to be Arnold. He doesn't have blonde hair, right?
Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Yeah. Was he ever blonde?
No, but
because if you look at this figure, it's very I don't poetic maybe.
So, send me the figure.
I
think I may have an answer to the blonde hair thing.
I did send it over so you could take a look at it.
Oh, okay. Let me take a look at it real quick and let me see.
But he's supposed to be half Terminator, half Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah,
And
so he's half Terminator, half Arnold.
And he has a bald eagle as a pet thing.
There's an unsettling Donald look.
There it is. That's what I was trying to tell you. It's a very.
There's an unsettling Donald look to him.
That's why I said it's poetic.
It
rhymes.
It like poetry.
It rhymes,
but it still sounds like shit.
But yes. They were clearly still keeping some of their tongue-in-cheek sort of parody stuff in, as they were slowly evolving. Because older ones we saw, there was a clear Batman one. There was a Transformers one, where it straight up looks like Optimus Prime. I don't know how they got away with it. They just named it something else, but it clearly
parody law.
It's so strange. And this one that's supposed to be Arnold Schwarzenegger, but also has a strange resemblance to.
We're gonna bleep that out.
Oh my lord! There's
What?
one that's Kratos from God of War.
So send it over.
Holy shit! They didn't care. I think they just said, okay, what's cool and popular right now? Let's take that and make a tech deck dude of it, and that will get us easy. I mean, for whatever reason, he has a goat as his pet. A ram? It's a ram. A strange ram. But that's Kratos. Yeah, he's got the two blades of chaos, and it's they weren't even trying. This is
wow.
They've got the. I mean, I guess the Tin Man from. Oh God.
So this.
What the f***? Oh, it's killing me. The Tin Man from what?
Wait, you're talking about the Tin Man?
Yes.
Yeah, from The Wiz.
Yes, the Wiz, the Wizard of Oz.
No, The Wiz.
The Wiz.
The Wizard of Oz.
Sure,
the
sure.
Wiz, Michael Jackson.
His pet for whatever reason is a beaver with braces, and whatever. But like I was saying, it's clearly just rip-offs of video games and movies. This one is. Is this one Indiana Jones? No. This one's clearly Clint Eastwood. It is. It's supposed to be. What movie did he play in? That was he was a cowboy, when he was rather young.
Wait, I'm sorry. You have to. I lost you for a moment.
It was Clint Eastwood where he was playing as a cowboy. He was very young.
The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Yeah, that's clearly supposed to be him in this one. Just so many of these are just parody things, and
looking at this Kratos one, I'm charmed. I've been enticed.
What's there to be charmed about? I mean, they didn't do anything besides take Kratos.
Little ram.
Oh my god.
What's crazy is that there are deluxe McFarlane figures of Kratos at your local. Well, I was gonna say Toys R Us.
FYE.
At your local FYE.
That's closing down.
Yeah. They look less like Kratos than this thumb does. I mean, this thumb looks like Kratos.
Well, I gotta say, they got the shading of his skin tone, spot on.
Yeah.
They got that ash skin tone that, and this one, and also, the stupid tech deck dude smirk works on that. If there were tech deck dudes I liked, they were the ones that you could not see their face, where they did not have mouth. Those were the robotic ones that I liked. I've always loved robots and stuff. And when it came to tech deck dudes, they were pretty cool, and I was like, thank God I don't have to look at that disgusting dude bro-ish skateboarder face, where they all looked like just ass. They all look like assholes. Something about it, they all look mean, and oh man, it's so strange that, I mean, this was clearly a toy just aimed at boys, young boys, and it's such an oddly mean-spirited kind of looking toy line as well.
Mean-spirited is 100% right, and you want to know something? The more I talk about this, the more I love it. I'm going to change my tune about this. I think Tech Deck Dudes was a phenomenal thing.
God's gift to the world.
You know what? Take the body, take the bag of thumbs, take every single carcass that we have laying before us.
Carcass are animals.
What? Take every single one, every corpse laying here, and I want you to bring them up to the topmost tower of the lab.
No, you. They're going in the furnace and they're burning. This is turning into... No, it's dead. It's dead.
Back.
All right, so then
bringing them back.
Bringing them back. Then let's move on to what they look like now.
No, we're gonna take these thumbs. We're gonna rig them up, and we're gonna wait for the lightning to strike, and we're gonna Frankenstein these bad boys. And wait a minute. Someone else has already done that.
Yeah.
I only discovered that there were new Tech Deck Dudes while investigating the old ones.
Same.
There's a lot to be said here, but let's try to get to the point. This is bad.
It's very bad. They look ugly.
You go first.
Okay. They look ugly. They're incredibly small.
Yes, that's the elephant in the room, is that they are not.
They are. You know what? I'm starting to think. I think maybe they were like, hey, remember? I can't remember the name of them. Those weird bean toys where it was like, look, you throw it on the ground and it stands back up, and it's
Crazy
like,
beans.
yes, I think that's what it was. Yeah, these look like Crazy Beans on skateboards. They're that small. They share the same blister design.
Now, I never collected Crazy Beans. Those
I didn't
were a
either.
little-
I had.
Those were kind of way past us.
Yeah,
I think
that was
we
way
were-
past us, and
We were
also
no
it's
longer the
incredibly
demographic. For
Also, it was
that.
incredibly stupid. It's a fucking pill.
Yeah, I remember my little brother taking a couple of those, and remember how I mentioned don't eat 2 magnets? Don't eat 2 Crazy Beans.
It makes mustard
And
gas.
you end up on a hospital bed with doctors wondering why the toy was made.
Yeah, yeah, and clearly, this was okay. We need to start to appeal to even younger kids, I guess, and to try to appeal to girls by making them smaller and I don't like. There's a whole series of these. There's a whole web series on YouTube.
Are you ready? Because I'm going to break these down for you. You are not cynical enough about this. You are not cynical enough. There is something much more depressing and awful behind these new tech dudes that speaks so much to the larger issue of society. I mean, quite frankly, you can sum up American culture with new tech dudes. New tech dudes may be seen by archaeologists in the year 3000 as this sort of poetic representation of the downfall of our, corporate ways. And I'm going to stop doing the voice. Here's the deal. They shrunk them. They shrunk them to the size of a fingernail and no longer a thumb, which that was something that the original tech deck dudes kind of made sense of.
Yeah, they were the size of your thumb.
Size of a thumb.
Yeah, maybe a grown man's thumb.
Yeah, but like a grown person's thumb.
Yeah, grown
like,
person's thumb.
You take that and put it next to
Your thumb.
Your thumb, and it was roughly the same size. Here, they're about the size of a thumbnail.
I wouldn't even say... Okay, yeah, thumbnail, yeah.
Here's the reason for it.
Cost.
Yes, yeah.
Cost?
The physical toy market,
a choking hazard?
yeah, the physical toy market is disintegrating due to tech. Tech things, apps. Kids are bought an iPad, and then that's the only thing that they need. And they will just ask for more apps on that iPad. So the first thing is every new toy has to go through this first layer of how do we make it as cheap as humanly possible, and how do we make it look as internet-y as humanly possible. So the first step is shrink it down so that it is the equivalent of a homie that you would get out of those 25-cent dispensers where you get the egg and you crack the egg open and you get a little dude inside.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to sell you a 25 to 50 cent little dude for whoever knows. I don't know how much these tech dudes are. I'm not even going to bother to look.
I'm going to say $10.
I'm going to say about $10. And even if they're 5, they're too much. But I'm going to say anywhere between $5 and $10. So that's the first thing they're going to do. Let's cut all the costs because we can't risk anything because the expectations in America in terms of profit have to be really, really freaking high for anything to be justified. Like, there's no level of profit that can just be like, oh, hey, we made enough to pay everybody and to keep the franchise going. Like, if the thing doesn't bank you Pokemon levels of money, if the thing that you are selling is not the next what's that game? The game that all the kids play with the dancing? What's the dancing game?
What the fuck are you going on about? What?
The dancing game. What? The one where they do the floss and then they shoot each other.
Fortnite.
Fortnite. If the intellectual property that you are pitching to children does not bring you Fortnite levels of profit, it's considered a loss. So why have an initial investment that is not even a risk, but just not a promise? They want to be able to fail and still make a profit. So these new tech deck dudes, could probably sell, I don't know, half of their product, and the rest could just be sent to local Goodwills for the next decade, and they'd probably still make profit and say, you know what, it didn't work because kids weren't into fingernail-sized figures on wheels. Yeah, of course. Not that the world was asking for more tech deck dudes, but if you're going to do it, do it. Don't just give us another scam, another thing where it's obvious that you have no intentions of sustaining a new intellectual property or creating something interesting. You're dipping a proverbial toe, pun intended, into the water about a look, about a style. Do kids gravitate towards this sort of attitude, this sort of look? If we put these next to the other things of similar colors and tones, are they going to buy these? Are parents going to purchase this product? And none of it is coming from an idea where someone says, hey, you know what? We have fingerboarding. We've got this tech deck thing. What if we made little guys to put on top of them? And what if we made them look like thumbs? That's a weird garbage idea, but it works, and they do it, and they went through with it, and they kept going with it, and there's something fairly genuine about it, where you can tell that people are sitting there like, crap, we need another one. What do we do? Make them Arnold. Make them Arnold. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Have you ever seen Pinhead? You got it. Another one. There's another one. What if we did a fat cop? That one too. Like, what kind of racisms do you know? Tell me all the racist jokes. I'll make them tech deck dudes. At least there are people behind it. This feels very, very like, here, how do we spend as little money as possible and hopefully make a profit? And that just seems to be all toy lines now. And god damn it. No, I'm done. I'm done. Having profit margins, man.
It's normal. It's normal now. It's not about making a sustainable toy line. It's
Exactly.
about
You just said it. Yep.
Yeah. It's about dumping out as much product as possible, and if it doesn't work, you write it off. You go, and they get a pass for it. It's okay. And then you find these toys.
There's no investment initially for them. So why on earth am I going to invest initially for you?
Yeah. And that's, I can't speak for what's, for the people that are growing up with these, stuff that's out now. I don't, maybe will have fond memories of whatever's out now. I honestly don't think so, though. I wish, I really hope so, too. But not to sound like a boomer, but I don't entirely see that happening with the way toys have not been as important, and it's a shame, but whatever.
And there's another added element to this as well.
They'll find their own memories and fun with that. So you know what?
Hopefully.
I think they will.
I'm going to stay a little bit cynical just for another moment, because there's one other element of the new tech dudes that I just need to address.
Okay.
So, all right, so they shrink them. They make them cost less to produce so that they can hopefully make money on it, regardless of whether or not it fails. Little investment, convince a bunch of children that it might be cool, and if it works, great, and if not, then whatever. Everything shrinks. Everything becomes more shitty. That's just, it's a pit. Everything's a pit. We're in a pit. Oh, God. Oh, God. No, sorry. Anyway, back to what I was saying. There's one added element, and that element is some of these are also randomized. I'm noticing that, unlike before, where the fun of tech deck dudes was that they created so many of them that you could go into a store and just look for them. You bought what you saw. What was in front of your face is what you purchased and what you walked out with. I'm looking at some of these, quote, packs, and it looks like they have randomized singular packs.
Oh, that's how they fuck you. That's also another thing why modern day toy sucks. They're taking gotcha, and they're going.
Yeah. All of
you're taking a random gamble.
Pop culture.
That, and also they're doing the other thing, which is, oh, you really like this one character? Well, here's his arm. Buy the other packs that include his other body parts to finish him, and that's a big fuck you right there. Old toys didn't do that shit. There was
the mystery of
what you're gonna get. What entices you to buy it? I mean, it'll entice kids to buy it.
No, but the
you don't know what you're gonna get in the end. You might get the same shit that you already have.
Yeah.
And like what? I mean, but these things are a little small, and so yes, and you can trade them to find what you want. But it's still.
No, it's not worth it. You end up spending. Here's the thing: we bought them flat out for full price at our local stores, and we still traded them.
Yeah.
You know, it's because that was us going, hey, you know what? I asked my parents for this one with a mohawk that's like a punk rocker because I thought it was really cool. But I would absolutely trade this one for the one wearing the baseball cap because I love baseball and I didn't know they had a baseball one. Or, wow, here's one that's a pirate. Oh my God, I'll trade you. I didn't know that existed. Here, what you have is something that, once again, isn't trying to entice kids because the product is good or cool. What we have here is, instead of trying to create an enticing product that you put out on the shelves and kids go up and they say, this is cool, I relate to this, I want to buy this, they instead sell addiction. They sell mystery.
Yeah.
They sell, oh my God, what could be in the box? You know, you're guaranteed to get the ninja one, but also the second one in the pack could be anything.
Yeah.
Or if you're getting an individual pack, it's like, what are you going to get? And that worked for the trading card model, but the trading card model never put itself into the toy model because they were two very separate things, and the toy industry knew it couldn't convince parents or kids that they should buy a random toy instead of getting a guaranteed G.I. Joe or a guaranteed Optimus Prime. Like, why would I take a chance on one of the 9 Transformers in this line in a random pack when I can just buy the one I want?
Here's the thing, though. It's the mystery that, gets people wanting to buy, and they're like, oh, I don't know what I could get. Or they put on the back and they say, you could get this one awesome-looking one. And you're like, I have to get that.
To my next point is that back then, it was an idea that no one really would have thought of beyond the trading card industry. Now, that randomizing, that mystery, we're going to make everything a mystery, that has been so ingrained into the minds of kids because of app culture, because of all of these pay-to-win, pay-to-play games. They just assume that all things are a chance. Like you take money that grows on trees in their minds, and you just dump it into a hole until you get what you want. And because they've been primed and they've been trained like that within the digital culture, they go into a store and they are more excited to see a mystery than they are to see a product because mystery is more familiar to them. And so these toy companies are like, great, we don't have to spend any money. We can make them tiny and make them insignificant. We can then put a mystery behind it, so we guarantee that they're going to buy more than one. And there we go. We simultaneously just made a good chunk of money and also killed our product as soon as it was born.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not going to survive, and it doesn't. And all we're doing now is waiting on laws to catch up with this, where we know that recently laws have
caught up with video games.
I think it has. I don't think it has enough.
Oh
But
no,
I
no,
think
it hasn't enough. I think in other countries it has, where they've
yeah,
completely.
in other countries they've put a stop to this
Oh
crap.
yeah,
But
no, it's a moneymaker,
yeah,
and they'll let it keep going for a while longer. It's fucking. I hate it. I hate it because it's infecting everything. Every
yes.
game, every now toys. It's amazing. I don't know if they can take it any further. But hey, they'll do
I'm
something to
not.
surprise me.
Oh, don't worry. Here's the next step. Are you ready? Ready? Here's the next step. They'll do. They'll remove the physical aspect of the figures entirely. And what you'll do is you'll buy packs with vouchers, and if you get 5 of the right voucher, you get the figure. You know I'm right.
No,
You know that
that's too stupid. That's too cynical.
If it is not stopped, that is the direction it'll go in. Because what they'll do is they'll produce less merchandise because they know that not enough kids will get enough of these. If you make those vouchers look like cool trading cards or whatever, which are dirt cheap to produce, the kids feel like the parents are like, oh, I'm buying them a pack of cards, but the pack of cards is $10.
Yeah.
Because if they get 5 of the right one, then they can mail them in, which USPS will be dead in a week anyway, so that's not going to work. No, I'm sorry. If you get 5 of them, you scan their UPC codes, or their, what do you call those square codes? The square thing.
QR code?
Yeah, you're going to scan the
You're gonna square.
You're going to square? You're going to scan the 5 QR codes on the back of these cards using the app that will go under and no longer be in the App Store a year and a half after.
Oh, yeah. That's a fucking problem, too.
So and that's the other great thing is that, and I'm saying that sarcastically, is these companies are realizing that you can sell nothing and make money.
Oh yeah,
they
can get away with it. Yeah.
I don't understand how people. I understand how it happens to children, but I don't understand how people aren't angrier that there are companies that are targeting children and they are convincing them, who many of them, have access to credit card information through what iPad they're using, and there's fault to be put on parents. I'm not going to have that conversation. But my point being is, the outrage should come to the fact that there is an entire marketing scheme that is around how do we sell nothing to children? And then how do we sell that nothing to them? How do we get them to download a free app, get addicted to monotonous, worthless algorithms that we piece together in 30 seconds? And then once they're addicted to that, how do we piecemeal them something that kind of feels like succeeding? It kind of feels like reaching new goals and new milestones. And we convince them that they've added things to their inventory. When really, as soon as we stop wanting to support the game and we want to stop our end of this financial transaction contract, we can do it, pull the rug out from under them, and walk away with all the money.
That's why I'm not invested in any gotchas, like when it comes to giving them money.
Oh, I'm not trying to get on the soapbox here.
No.
But this is immediate. This is why going into this podcast after this episode, after I sat for a while and investigated the Tech Deck dudes once more, I got all these fond memories, and then I got a wake-up call that told me, oh my God, we are not in that same world anymore. Tech Deck dudes as they were could never exist now. Not because they wouldn't be profitable. You could probably make a profit on them. But you would not be able to make the profit that is expected anymore.
Yeah, no.
Every single product needs to be that multi-billion-dollar cash-in or whatever. And here they're going to do it by taking the psychology behind children gambling culture, really. And they're going to put it into toys. They're going to give you 25 cent, 50 cent little rinky dinks And
and charge you like 10 times more, even more than that. It's
yeah, let me actually look how much one of the. Oh my God, we were wrong.
what are they worth less?
A 4-pack, which comes with 3 of these tiny little tech deck dudes, and 1 mystery tech deck is $20.
The thumbnail sized ones.
Yes.
My God, 4 of them.
So for
One's
$20,
mystery.
you're getting 3 that you can see.
Do they at least come with
And-
anything else, like cards?
They
No, you know what? Don't even. No, that's not justifiable at all.
don't come with cards.
Jesus Christ,
I'm
that's
looking
bad.
now. I think they might come with a. It looks like a skateboard wheel, and you can put the little figures inside of them, which I
Oh,
think
a little
I think
tin.
that's kind of yeah, like a little tin. But my point is, you're talking about $5 a pop on these tiny little things.
And they
these-
probably cost 20 cents to make.
Yeah, and toys have always been that way.
Yes, yeah.
But it's more along the fact of
This is a piece of shit toy. Let's
Yeah.
not cut corners here. It's a piece of shit.
It probably cost the original Tech Deck Dude guys 50 cents to produce the full scale Tech Deck Dudes, and we probably paid
And
anywhere
charging $20 for 3 of those, sure. But $20
Yeah.
for 4 thumbnail sized ones? Fuck that. That's awful. They look like shit. They're incredibly small. I don't understand it. It's a piece of shit. I don't know why you would like it over, the originals.
because they're hoping that kids don't recognize the brand. And I think even worse, I think they're hoping that the parents may recognize the brand, so that they recognize it just enough to buy it, and that the kids don't recognize it at all, so they don't know what they're missing.
Yeah. I hate this.
Yeah, isn't it awful?
It sucks.
The longer you stare at it, the worse it gets. And I know that now we're kind of bad mouthing this Frankenstein monster that this thing has become.
No. I don't give a shit. I don't care if you like this new one. It's a piece of shit.
Yeah,
It looks terrible. I literally see no fun in it besides maybe it being a choking hazard. That's
Yeah.
it. No, it's shitty. There's nothing good about it. It's the old one. I think we don't know unless you can find the information what the time period was between old Tech Deck Dude and new Tech Deck Dude.
I think new Tech Deck Dude started just last year.
Okay, and then when did old Tech Deck Dude just suddenly vanish? When do you think that left? Like at least
I
before
think-
2010?
Yeah, I'm
Definitely.
gonna pin it at now when I carve the birth and death date into the headstone, I'm going to carve the
This is a
height.
morgue. I didn't know we made fucking headstones too.
We do all of it. Dude.
We do all of it?
here. What
Oh
are you
Jesus,
talking
that's
about?
more paperwork.
I went over the business model with you, and here you are questioning, like, what is it? What do we do? I thought we were a morgue. I thought we do anything that they ask us that involves the dead. All right.
Who's asking us? What's going on?
If they want us to do a Five Nights at Freddy's, or no, what was that movie?
What the fuck is that?
Finger Me Freddy? No,
Fre-
what's the movie?
Freddy got
What's the movie?
fingered?
Freddy got fingered. No, but that's not the one where they have the dead body and they put the dead body up and they string it around.
Bernie's? Five Nights at Bernie's? No, wait.
See what's happening here? You see why I'm lost? This is what they do. They get the thumbs in your brain and they massage the wrong part. What, Bernie Mac?
Night Out with Bernie?
Bernie movie. I'm googling it. What was it called again? Oh God, I have one that's about Sanders. This isn't what I'm looking for. Bernie.
Night Out with Bernie? I think I said that already.
Here, Dead Bernie movie. How about that one?
Dead Bernie. I think you're gonna get a lot of different.
Weekend at Bernie's.
Weekend at Bernie's. There it is.
All right, we're gonna cut all of that.
No, that stays. That was great. I think that should stay. That was great.
And I'm gonna start from the beginning. What is Five Nights at Freddy's, and why did I say that first? What is that?
It's a game. It's supposed to be a horror game. I put horror in quotes. Where animatronic animals are alive and.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. No, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. It was a thing that I think is basically dead now.
Anyway, point being, getting back onto it.
Okay.
Listen, we do anything that they want us to do when it comes to these bodies. That is what we do.
All right.
We're a mortuary. We can make them look good. We can put them up on display.
So then this is what we're going to do. We're going to take old tech.
And guess what? If they want to string these bad boys up like it's Weekend at Bernie's, then that's what we're going to do.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
We're stringing up old tech deck dude. New tech deck dude's I'm going to say this. It died. It lived a fairly decently long life. It died with no pride, no. There was nothing. It just died, and now it's back.
I'm pretty sure we said that it died on the toilet.
Yes, yeah. About an hour ago, we said that. That's true. It died on the toilet. Yes, it died on the toilet. But you know what? That was our toilet, damn it.
Yeah.
And
it showed us one hell of a time.
And that's fine. But to see what it is now is a goddamn shame. It's modern day scummy toy marketing, and it's absolute shit.
Say a lot of bad things about Tech Deck Dudes as it existed then. We can make fun of the way it looked. We can make fun of how it was completely mismarketed. We can make fun of the fact that really the toys for us and for many others that I talked to, they weren't used for the way that they intended.
Yeah.
They were really just used as fun magnets in schools and something to collect. We can make fun of all of that.
Yeah.
But I'm going to put a twist on that, and I'm going to say all of those things that we made fun of were technically tech deck doodly, they were actually positives, because even when we were ripping it up, I think that we were referring to memories that mattered to us.
Yeah, when I insult them, it's out of love. I think there were some ugly ones, yeah, but you know what? I think they covered a lot of ground with all these different kinds, and it was like, you know what? There's one for everybody.
I don't know if I agree with all that.
there's
I don't know if I'd say love, and I don't know if I'd say there's one for everybody.
I mean, they made sure there were some that were clearly pushing it, such as the racist ones. Cut this out! Cut this out! Check this audio for Tech Deck Dude EVPs.
Let's remember that a lot of these were racist and they were offensive.
Okay. Hold on. All right.
Lowbrow bullshit.
Go back to it. Yeah.
No,
no, fuck that. Yeah, some of these Tech Deck dudes were pretty racist. They wouldn't fly today.
Now he's backtracking. Now he's like, hold on a minute.
No. I forgot about those. Oh my god. Excuse me, but I'm the one recording with the file here. I'll cut it out myself, damn it. Alright. Back to the topic. No,
no, go ahead. Go ahead. Say the script the way you wanted to.
No, it's fuck what I was saying. I'm just gonna say something else. It's pretty stupid and bad, I guess, but it's not as bad as what it is now. At least when it comes to, but besides the ethical nature of all this racist shit that they had in the original series, I assume the new one doesn't do that.
I don't know about that. I'm looking at some stuff right now that actually no. This isn't too bad.
I looked at it and they seem to only have two.
This person, not a specific.
Yeah, they only have two skin tones. For the new ones.
God.
And so they're clearly trying to play it more safe, and whatever, they can do that, but it's still shit. The new stuff is shit. The old stuff is a better pile of shit.
Yeah, it's a bad product from a different world, and I think that's one of the reasons why our podcast kind of needs to exist.
Yeah,
Which is
because that world is gone. I
that
don't.
world is gone.
Yeah, I don't
And-
think. I mean, you can look at some examples of. You can just look at video games to see that there are no skateboarding games. They are not being made as often anymore. Skateboarder culture has really kind of disappeared from the average person's view. Like there aren't many video games about it anymore. I don't, no one knows the names. I get if a lot of people knew who Tony Hawk was. I don't think anybody knows who the new hotshots are. Like an average person, someone who isn't into skateboarding, they're not going to know who's who's the hotshot in skateboarding now. And that's why I think the culture has sort of disappeared. It had its, what is the term, limelight, and its time in the limelight or whatever.
Yeah,
It had its time, and that's clearly past now. A lot of different markets are like, all right, we can't milk this anymore. Video games are like, we'll maybe come out with one or two every couple years just for the fans of skateboarding, but they're not trying to go for the larger community because nobody cares anymore about it. It's gone. So to try to resurrect it in this new cutesy tiny form, which is clearly them, they were just saying, oh, well, all the other kids like small and cute stuff. We're just gonna have to take them and make them small and cute. Minus cute, just small and useless. And it's not gonna work. You're getting the attention, I guess, for the people that like the small toys, the kids that like that stuff, but everything else about it is a bygone era, at least for the average person. If you are a skater, then maybe you might like these toys or whatever. But a lot of kids are not really going to care about that part, and it's gone. It's dead,
Yeah.
and I think it should stay dead out of respect for it.
Well, yeah, this intellectual property itself, yes, I think it is, and
because it might be for a lot of people when they think skateboarding toys, they will think of Tech Deck dudes and they will think of the fingerboards, and there's no way you can fuck up fingerboards. That's just a toy that is a miniature board. There's no way they can somehow fuck that up. But Tech Deck dudes, yes, they can fuck that up. So just leave it where it is. It's dead, and I think it's a important cornerstone of skateboarding culture, especially for toys. I don't know if how many they have really. I can only think of Tech Deck dudes and the Tech Deck skateboards. I don't know if they're just called Tech Decks, but it's one of the only things they have as a toy thing, as part of the toy culture, and it should be cherished that way, viewed in like what a weird time that was, and it had some charm to it, and it shouldn't be brought back. It needs to stay dead and remain that way.
yeah. To me, I'm gonna wrap up my part by just saying, we're gonna once again, the point of this podcast is to look at this sliver of time that doesn't exist anymore, and where things sprung up into the interest of kids our age. This is anywhere from the mid to late 90s going into the early 2000s. And during this time frame, there was so much being marketed towards us, but in a different way, and in a way that is gone. And looking at Tech Deck dudes as they were, when I look at them through the lens of, hey, how did they stack up against other things of that time period? They're kind of embarrassing. But when I look at them compared to what exists now, I'm charmed by them. I actually say, oh my God, look at this thing that couldn't possibly exist now, because it wouldn't be done. It just isn't done. It isn't. We were at a point back then where the expectations for profit were much different than now, and the expectations for what kids would be willing to buy were much different than now. And I think that's why, when it comes to whether or not tech deck dudes died of natural causes or were murdered, when we look at the bodies, the thumbs, the bag of thumbs that has been laid before us, when we look at them and we think back to where we found them and where they are now, and we dissect them, bisect them, open them up, take a look inside, I am going to put my vote that this thing was murdered. And it was murdered not by another intellectual property,
by its own hands.
Possibly by its own hands. I was almost going to argue that it was murdered by the toy culture itself, but I'm going to agree with you. Actually, I'm going to go.
I would say
it was murdered by its own creators.
What I would say is it died of natural causes, and the creator came in and started to perform CPR and said, "No, I'm milking you. There's still more I can get out of you, damn it."
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I can still get you to work in the mines a little bit longer.
Yeah, and they're like, "Don't worry, we're gonna dress you up all pretty and small, and you're gonna be loved again." And that's what happened. And I think after this, though,
and I'm gonna reword that. I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm just gonna reword that just slightly. It's not that they're saying you're going to be loved again. It's they're saying you're gonna make me money again.
Yeah, you're gonna. Yes, yeah. If there was you're gonna be loved again, it wouldn't have changed. They wouldn't have changed their sizes. They would have said, here they are in a higher quality and newer designs. Like we're resurrecting the old stuff. That's true. They're not loved. They're being milked, and and then next time that it keels over, they're gonna leave it. They're gonna go, all right, I think now we're done with it. I would hope. But I seeing that it came back, that was new to me. I just saw that last night. It was rather surprising, but I don't think they can't do it a third, or they can't bring it back a second time. I just don't believe that. So I think that after this one dies, which I'm going to give it, I haven't seen many of the newer toys and when they came out, but it seemed like it was 2018. I don't know. If it's still around, I don't see it lasting more than 2 years, 2 more years. Even less.
I'm actually going to say, let's not even put the dirt on the old tech deck dudes that we're about to bury, because the new ones will get placed right on top of them pretty soon, and we'll just bury them both together.
Oh no, that's too offensive for it.
I can't believe that I'm coming out of this with a positive spin on tech deck dudes, because this was going to be one of those episodes where we kind of not bash, but take a couple
I think it's because we have the new ones to compare it to.
I think it's because if we didn't have the new ones, I think maybe this conversation would have gone in the same direction of why did these exist then and why couldn't they exist anymore now?
Yeah.
And the answer to that is that everything has changed.
Yeah.
I'm not saying for better or for worse. I'm just saying it all has.
It's skating culture has gone off on its own way, and it's not as noticed, and because of that, that's why these things can't survive.
So, Gabe, I have the tombstone in front of me. I've got my hammer and chisel. I put in the name Tech Deck Dudes. When considering the birth and death dates, we've got 2 options. One of them is we can put the date that the franchise allegedly started, from what I've been able to gather, which is from 2000 to 2000. I'm not going as far as 2006. I'm going to say that it died about 2004, maybe 2005. I'll even go 2005. I will allow that to happen. Perhaps it was still, on some level of life support or something in 2005. I'll go as that far. But with that birth date, I really only want to give this thing a couple of years. I'm thinking of putting it as something that was popular from 03 to 04 or 03 to 05.
Yeah, I can agree with you on that.
Do you agree? Now,
yes.
I want to actually say 03 to 04 because even if it's not accurate, that's certainly what it freaking felt like.
Yeah, it did feel like that. Yes, it did. It did.
I'm telling you, it was an intense 6 months of my life. It was a party where I was all thumbs. I was nothing but thumbs. And the party ended, the high fell, and I was just in a daze. And when I finally walked out of it, I was like, oh my God, what have I done? I look at the bucket and I've got to get rid of it. And I give it to a cousin or something. I'm like, here, they're fun place. But really, I'm just trying to sweep the embarrassment under the rug.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for visiting the Memory Mortuary. Our morticians are Andreas Marangos, Esquire, and ya boy Gabe. Our intro music was composed and performed by Christian Tech Natal. Our narrator, cover illustrator, and social media manager is Emily Barksdale. That's me. You can follow us on Instagram at Memory Mortuary. Join us next week as we perform another autopsy here at the Memory Mortuary. We're sorry for your loss.